Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? Well, it's weird. I'm seeing the ghosts of the people who mentored me playing out in these charts. That last move that you just saw, up and down, that is one of the classic penny stock moves. We'll go over it. Hey, Dano, what's up? Hey, Badir, Donnie, John, how are things in Thailand? It's one place I've always wanted to visit. Hey, Hoff, Hoff 3R. Hey, how you doing? Good observations this morning uh, about what you were seeing and what you were thinking. That's really cool. And the really cool thing is you have the self awareness to go, hey, I don't really understand this, so maybe I shouldn't trade it. That is going to make you a lot of money down the road, my friend. Oh, good morning, folks on YouTube. Hey, Rocky. How are things in Germany? Yeah. There's a lot of things. It's strange. This is one of those businesses where there's all kinds of business going on at all times. The thing is, some of the business that is going on is business that we are either not allowed to do or we don't have the tools and resources to do that. So that's kind of important to know the difference. The difference between speculation business, wholesale business, retail business, uh, you know, institutional money managers. There's all different, you know, there's got a lot of fish in this big ocean that we call the market. Let's see what's going on tonight or this morning. Night for you stateside. Overnight inventory is pretty short, my friends. I'm, truth be told, I'm seeing a move up, a fade, a move up, a fade. This is just back and forth speculation. This 65.47, we had a look below and fail. And usually on a look below and fail, okay, where are my 1 minute candle look below and fail traders? You know when the market goes under the level and then comes back up and it sticks? Like, look at this. Check this out. Here's a look below and fail that is very similar to what we're doing here. If you thought of these candles, each one of these candles you'd think of as a day, there's the look below and fail. And then it's kind of futzing around. Now, it does get a major move up into distribution. So if we don't, check it out, because this is the same thing. The same type of business is going on a 1 minute chart that you can actually learn and make money from. And then as you progress, you can take these trades using the daily once you've, got a couple of sticks in your account, right? And you can hold trades overnight. It's the same thing, right? Because guess what? Here's a news flash that none of these people will tell you. I don't know why, right? The business has not changed since it was invented. So when was it invented? It was when, the first cavemen started selling rocks. There was a market for rocks, and if you paid with rocks with, I don't know, a goat, a rock would cost one goat. Then sometimes, one rock costs two. You know, sometimes they go on sale. You could get a rock for a chicken. You know, it's the same thing, right? So, and it was very similar for years until old Billy Microsoft came along with Windows 95. And Windows 95 changed the world for retail traders because it allowed decent charting programs to be built, because Windows 3.1 was, it's like driving a cart with horses. All right, so look how mechanically clean the trading is. So overnight inventory is short. Later on in the day, we will look for that move up. If that doesn't happen, we're going to come test these 65-80 waters, okay? But for now, how do we make some scratch while you guys, before I put you guys to sleep with history lessons and such, how can we make some scratch, right? As my buddy the Golden Bear would say, I got a buddy, he's a shell guy. We call him the Golden Bear. He's this huge dude that grew up in Alaska or some godforsaken place. So he's tough as nails, sells shells, and he's always like, he always calls me Joey. Joey, where's the loot? Where's the loot? He's made a lot of money selling shell companies. Alrighty, so there we are at the previous day low. There is a seller there. Okay, so let's go mark the sellers. Right? I don't know. You guys are all young. There was this commercial for some fashion something or the other in the 90s or the 80s, and the woman would scream in French, "Montre-toi misérable," which means show yourself, you miserable bastard. And that's what we're doing here. We're getting the seller to show themselves, because once we know where the sellers are, then the seller here, where this white line is, they will tell us, hey, there are some suckers who are willing to pay more, so I'm going to raise my price and fill them, right? If they continue to be willing to pay more, we'll sell it all the way up to 17.5. Boom! There it is. You just saw it happen. Okay? But then we ran out of suckers, so we had to lower the price. That's why you watch this red line called the offer. Oh, hey, Al, nice work. Nice. 11.5 to 16? Yes, we are. Indeed, we are, my friend. Right. So, what's the trade here? You want to short the previous day low, right? So if you're short 16.15, your stop is here, right? Because if you lose your backup seller, then the seller's telling you, hey, bucko, we're going to move price up to the 20s. 3 to 15? Oh, everyone's trading nice. Look at me. I'm late to the party. I'm still trying to finish this first coffee, and it's not going down well. Ugh. Sorry. Should be JJ's trading hour and his disillusionment with modern coffee. I don't know. Coffee does not taste as good as it used to in the 80s and the 90s. I don't know. Maybe it's the chemicals or something. I don't know. It's not the same. So if you're short, where do you put your bid? Aha! Check this out. That's the position. So if I was short, I'd be putting some bids under 14 to see if you can catch some low-hanging fruit. What's up, Mohammed? Sometimes I see offer under current price on Globex. Ah, when the offer is under the current price, it means that the product is being put on sale, that there's competition. See, now Badir is working on this software, which when he gets it out, He's a sharp dude. It's going to put a retail trader in a size trader's position, and he will understand the concept of competition. Because when you guys are trading on the sim doesn't take into account when you start trading size. It treats 100 contracts like one. So when you go to sell 100 contracts, you get filled. Ooh, right? But in real life, when you go to sell 100 contracts or 500 contracts, the market will move away from you, right? And everyone's like, "What's going on? Why can't I get it up?" And the client on the other end of the phone, is screaming his guts out like you murdered one of his family. Where's my fill? That's all you hear you've got two phones in your. On one side you hear some guy just freaking out screaming, "Where's my fill?" And on the other side you're talking to the market maker trying to get the fill. Now that's all electronic now, right? So I'd put my bids down here if you were short 16, 15, cover some at 13. Look, it all went all the way down to cost basis, right? We hit 12. It's not a bad little short. That is a nice structural short. You know why? Because everybody and his dog who is long in the tens is going to sell 15, 16 at the previous day low. Why? Because the previous day low is like the Roxbury, right? It's the hot nightclub, right? Everyone sees it. Everybody knows about it. Everybody will be hanging out at the previous day low to transact business. That's why when people ask me what moving averages I use, I go, I don't know. Let me ask and find out which are the popular moving averages. Because I want to be at the watering hole where all the water buffalo are drinking. Because I'm an alligator and I'm going to come out of the water and just grab one and boom, right? So I want to be at the popular place where people are transacting because there's a lot of food there, right? So see how we found the bid right at cost basis? No big surprise. Short it down to cost basis. Cover your short, and now look for a responsive long back up to 16. Simple stuff. Look, there it is. There's 15 and a half. Boom, 16. It's almost like the market is helping me teach today, right? I say something, 30 seconds later it happens. Nice work. Nice work. Right back to the previous day low. Now, have we caught enough people short under 14 that they're going to take out that 17 seller and go hit that stop at 22? That's what you're thinking when you're looking at this market. You don't care what's going on in the news. You don't care what some idiot is talking about, some Velcro wall level or some crap like that. Pure price action, pure information. We don't have enough buyers to raise price over 18. So, hell, if you were long 14 and you're out at 16, 17, pay your phone bill, right? Simple, common sense trading. No indicators, no stupid theories, just pure business. And we will never tell you, oh, it's an art, not a science, and we can't tell you where to take the trade. If somebody can't tell you where to take the trade is, and why to take the trade, that's not good. That means they don't know their business or they don't know how to teach. Sorry, right? This business has been around for thousands of years. How could they have possibly screwed up trading education so much that nobody knows their ass from a hole in the ground? It is beyond me. Sorry. I think the coffee's kicking in. Right? Vibe trading? I've heard of vibe coding, but I don't know what vibe trading is. Is that when you put on some music and Drink some wine. I know the age is kicking in again, Dave. Vibe trading. Put a little earth, wind, and fire. Light some incense. Is that? I don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure. You share your screen with your lads and start making a casino out of crypto exchanges with a lot of leverage. Oh, that sounds stressful. I'd rather with the earth, wind, and fire, light some incense, and, have a glass of wine. That's more my vibe. Yeah, that sounds really stressful. But I find casinos very stressful because I just see people it's like they sit down and they just take all their money out and give it to somebody. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I don't know. Okay. Vibe coding. Equal highs and lows. If you have equal highs right here, you got a seller there, Aaron. That's where the size sellers are parked. And that's where they start competing and pushing price down. Equal lows is where the sellers find unfilled bids, stop selling, and try and get them to pay more. Real simple. No such thing as a draw. There's only accumulation and distribution, my friend. You know how they always say buyers are fighting sellers? Could you imagine walking into, I don't know, walking into Saks Fifth Avenue, right? And you want to buy something, right? Say you want to buy a new wallet, or you want to buy you walk into a Rolex store to buy a Rolex, and the guy comes out from behind the counter with a baseball bat and starts swinging at you. Not the best shopping experience, is it? Why would buyers want to fight sellers? And sellers fight buyers. You want to be nice to the buyer and get them to pay more. Right? Or no one ever worked in business before. Right? So, Aaron, we got that seller right where that white line is, right? 17 and a half, 17 and a quarter. So let's see now see the offer raised, but nobody took it. Ah, see? So sometimes the red line will come above the white line, but is there a print? See, look, no print. Right? It raised and came back down. So the seller there isn't aggressive, but there are a few of them. So if you're selling there, I'm going to sell a tick underneath because I need to get rid of my inventory that I bought at 14. Do you guys understand the business now? Right? It's a business. You're buying and selling a product. This is a sales chart of how those sales are going at this particular time. Right? I don't know why nobody says it's a freaking sales chart. It shows you where they acquired their inventory and where they're selling it. So you don't want to be buying it at 17. You want to be long at 14 and selling it at 17. This way you have some sort of situational awareness of what the hell's going on in the business that you're trying to make money in. Right? Oh. This coffee is like 3 Mile Island or something. I don't know. Hey, hola Juan. ¿Qué pasa? How's San Diego? Exactly. If they're not aggressive, Moran, aggressive is I see you and I see Juan and I see Al and Ozzy and I see you guys all selling. I go, F this, and I just, boom, hit every single bid. And you get that, right? You got that here. Right? We had that right before we came on. Look at that. That's a big sell order. Right? Right down to 6,600. What a surprise. It stopped right there. And then boing all the way back up. Trapped everybody short. Bought them in once we got over 6608. Then back down. So what we want to do is we want to trade the edges in, That's our sweet spot. We want to trade the outside edge in. And speaking of trading, I don't even have my trading account open. Hang on. And now chop. Right? Chop, good old boring chop. Which means business is slow. Right? So if you think of it like a store, right? It got really busy and really busy, and then London's going to open in a couple of minutes. Let's see if that does this or that does this. Oh. Interesting how when M period opened, it came down to that old overnight low. That's an area that we will want to be looking at for sure. Overnight point of control is up here. And it's 1,352 contracts. I wonder if it's going to move down here. Does it have enough time? I need another 1,500 contracts at one of these tick levels. But there you can see plainly that there's sellers here, right? Anyone? Bueller? You guys can all plainly see that there's a seller. Top of the candles are where the sellers initiate and compete. So that's when all you guys want to sell this level, and then somebody gets a bright idea, I'll sell lower. And then you guys all start pushing price down. That's when you want to be short. The only problem with shorting is there's a seller here, so you could short 16, 16 and a half if you get lucky. Put your stop at 18. But there are these annoying buyers at 14. So now it's limited to a 2-point chop. Do you really want to trade that? Let's see what happens. We got 4 more minutes until London pops. So equal highs and lows, Aaron, are very useful. They tell us where the sellers are, and they tell us where the sellers stop selling, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah, no barcode for me, right, Dano? Right, I'll let other people sit in this chop for an hour, half an hour. And to go position long or short, I don't know. If I'm going to build a position, I want to build a long position in a tight range at a deep discount level. Like, I don't really know if I want to build a long position over cost basis. I would rather build a long position if we look below and fail 97, go 97 to 6,600 long, and then sell it into the sixes. Right? That's good for me. Right? When I'm thinking building a position, you should think, oh, that's like a wholesaler's trade. So does a wholesaler want to pay retail prices and sell? No, right? You guys get it? You understand? When you're trying to wholesale, you want to get the cheapest prices so you can move product, and then you have much more, not discretion, but you have a larger margin of error. So if you buy 10 cents for something and it sells at 80, well, that's great because you can price compete down to 60, 70 and still make money. Right? But if it's selling for 80 and you go buy 80, right? When price competition comes in and they're selling it at 70, you're screwed. So you got to think about that, and that's why I use this term cost basis, because everybody else in the business does, right? He who has the lowest cost basis has already won. Because if you're buying something at 5 and everybody owns it, or the insiders in a stock, for example, own it at 2 or 1, they can sell it all the way back down there and still make money. Whereas you're buying it at 5, hoping to sell it at 7. Right? Nobody ever talks about that stuff. It's really simple. Is there a trade here? No, there isn't. Let's see what happens. Has London drank its tea? We get any action when London opens? Right? Which I'm going, are they going to bring anybody into the store? Flexibility in where to sell your product. Exactly, Dave. You know, it's like I'm on Instagram and there was this ad for, the fancy watches, the cases for them to, to put your watch in. And I clicked on it. It was like $300 for the case. And then I looked on AliExpress, and the exact same case is like £4. I was like, see, you buy something at 4 and sell it at 300, right? It's business. It's good business, right? Right now, business is slow. So there you go, Aaron. You got equal highs up here at 17.5, right? You got equal lows down here at 13.25. And if you draw a line from 13.25 to this 12, you see that there's a little box here, right? Between like 11.75 to 13.25. That's the position. Pretty cool. Check it out. Right? So this is the position here that they're selling up here. It's the same thing, right? So here's your position. They sell it down to position, stop selling. London comes in, they shut off the tap, force London to buy higher. Now, where are they going to sell into it? Right? Let's see if we stay over the overnight, yesterday's low, sorry. If we stay over yesterday's low, it's a long. Right? So let it come down and test that 16.5. See if we get bids. If we get bids, right, go long 17, put an 18.75 offer out one. I got another one I'm offered at 19 and no takers yet, and I'm flat at 18, right? Quick little trade. Now, if you want to stay long, you just watch the overnight low, right? It's going to come check it again. It may come down to 14. Okay? If it stays over 16, it will take that high and blast it up into the 21s. Here we go. You can see seller, seller. Now, are there enough suckers to raise price up to 20? Remember, we talked about 20 earlier, right? It's the same thing, my friends. It's the same thing as we showed you here. See? It's the same thing. Look below and fail, and then back up, right? So we're still waiting for this on the daily, but it's happening in a smaller time frame. Once you understand how the business works, you start trading on a small time frame so you can see everything. People go, JJ, why can't you use a 5-minute chart? Because you miss all of these little details that you need to see when you're a new trader. Right? You need to see those equal lows. You need to see those highs. If you take that and you put it on a 5-minute, you've just cut the amount of information that you're looking at 5 times. See, and you can't manage your trades as well on a 5-minute chart if you don't know what you're doing. Sure, once you understand what you're doing, you can trade a 5-minute chart, but you're going to miss all of these details here. right? You're going to miss those details because you don't see what's happening inside the candle. Here we do, right? It's not that we want to teach you to trade fast. We want you to execute with urgency. Otherwise, you don't take it seriously and you get destroyed. You take that minute and you cut it up, right, Al? Because I want all of the information that I can use in a practical way. That is a 1 minute candle chart. I don't care about anything else. I don't about your delta and your gamma and your phi, beta, kappa, zappa, dappa. None of that matters. Where's the offer? Are they price competing? No. They're raising prices, so you don't want to short it when they're raising prices. Right? Very simple stuff. Just common sense. Because the thing is, with complicated trading strategies, right, and the more things you're looking at, when you get punched in the face, and you will, you're going to see the Tweety birds and you're just going to start pressing buttons. You have to train yourself for when, excuse my language, when the shit hits the fan, because it will. And if you freeze or if you react in a way that you're not trained to react, you will crash the plane, right? That's why pilots use the simulator to simulate conditions, right? You should be doing the same thing in trading. Just so you understand, first thing you do when you get into a trade, where the hell do I get out of this thing if it goes bad? That should be your first thought. And it's not a dollar amount. It's a business reason. That's why nobody can do their stops properly. Because they're going, oh, 2-to-1 risk, blah, 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 right? No, where does the trade not make sense? I'm long 16. If somebody puts it on sale at 14.15, trade doesn't make sense anymore, right? Because I'm long 16 to sell it at 17.18. If somebody goes and puts it on sale at 14, then the inventory I own is mispriced, right? It's simple, right? Now you just keep it simple so you can practice the execution. You know, if I had a physical trading room, I'd have you guys in front of computers and I'd throw wrenches at you while you were trading to see whether you could trade and duck, you know, just like dodgeball, right? This is really choppy. We're struggling to stay over yesterday's low. Really struggling. You guys notice that's different, right, than what usually happens? Usually we do a look below of the previous day low and it's boom, right back up quickly. Do you see the difference? Anyone? You guys awake? Man, this coffee was good. Yes? No? Does anyone notice the difference between what usually happens when we're in an uptrend to the way it's trading now that we're in a downtrend or a sideways at a bottom? Subtleties, my friends, subtleties. They heard me. And look where it went. Quelle surprise. Look, it went right there to the tick. Exactly. Right? It's choppier than usual because you got overhang. Oh, didn't know that, Moran. I'm just checking in. That's okay. You're the one who usually answers questions. Just seeing if everybody else is awake. There are subtle things that happen in this business that if you don't pay attention to, you're always going to be on the wrong side of things. You're always going to have the wrong expectations. You're not going to do intelligent business. There will be an emotional aspect to what you're doing. Because what happens is where knowledge fails, emotion takes over. That's why everybody goes on and on about trading psychology, right? There's nothing wrong with trading psychology, but if you don't know what the hell you're doing, there's no amount of psychology that is going to help you make money. It's just asinine to even think that, right? If you've never ridden a bicycle and you go to a bicycle psychologist and you don't know how to ride a bicycle, when you try and ride one, you are going to fall off the bicycle. Overhanging inventory. So, Neil, if you're underneath a level for a number of days, there are people trapped long above that level. Learn the business. Learn why trades happen and the reason for them. Now, if enough people shorted this thing under 20, we'll go tickle VWAP at 26 and break above it. Yeah, trap long. So now, position traders. You'll want to be, you probably want to be going long 18, 19, 20. You know there's going to be sellers on the way up, right? You know they're going to be sellers here at VWAP, which is 26, if you're building a position. Exactly, base. Right? There's VWAP. It's right here. So the people who got long between 14 and 17 are selling here. That's what's going on. I'm watching that previous day low like a hawk. Do we stay above it? It's choppy as heck. We have sellers, right? We have sellers. We got that little last burst of buying up to 23, and we just sold everything we had at 23, 22, 21. Just let them have it. And that is exactly, somebody was saying, it's like they take it up to slam it down. Yeah, they take it up to suck people into buying it because you have what I call the tire biters, right? The tire biters who think that this is a breakout and they buy it, like dogs chasing a car, and then we sell into this. Boom. Thank you very much. Is this chart live? Yes, it is. There might be a slight delay because I'm on YouTube. And that's exactly what they did. London opened. It brought in some fresh meat, right? We took the price up to 22, 20, 21, and then now they're going to sell it all the way back down. Yeah. And that is the business of the evening. So just look for back and forth trades, find your level, couple of in and outs, go grab a coffee, right? Don't overtrade this because your concentration will only last so long. See? Couldn't even get down to 14 quarter yet. They stop selling, buyers come in, raise price. Let's see where they sell into it. They sold into it at 16 half. Wait for the next candle to open and see if it can break 14 and a quarter. Come on. Bring it down, and then I'll be looking at 13. See? Stop short of 14 and a quarter. And as it goes up, there'll be a seller somewhere in the 15s. How do I know? Look at the way it's trading. There's the seller. Et voila. Now, how do I know this market so well? Because that's the only market I trade. So my philosophy is learn how to do one thing well. It's better than learning how to do 5 things really kind of half-assed, right? So know your market, especially if I'm going to put my clients' money to work. I need to know exactly what's going on. Right? I'm not going to screw around and just indeterminately lose money. Right? There we go. Let's see if that 13.5 bid holds. Yeah, broke it for the first time in a while. Almost an hour. Okay. Trapped longs above 14 quarter now, Neela. So when we get up to 14 quarter, there should be a seller. See, there's the seller. See how they're lowering price? So if you're short 14 on the look above and fail of 14 quarter, 14, 13, go put your bids in here, make a couple of points. Target is 8.5. There you go. Good liquidation. The market's changed, folks, right? And we did a webinar on how the markets have changed in the room Tuesday. Yesterday we did an execution lab, and today we're going to be doing at 11 o'clock in our trading room, we are going to be doing a size trader sort of execution concepts for larger traders. Come check it out. We got a 3-day trial. Won't cost you anything except a little bit of your attention span. Has your POC moved? Mine hasn't yet, Dano. It won't down here. Where'd yours move to? Different data feeds, eh? Took out that M low. See, Moran, there's your aggressive seller. Right, because remember yesterday's inventory is down here. Right? Yesterday's what they call value area low is the bottom of the cost basis is right here. Check it out. Yesterday's point of control is all the way down here. Oh, that's not bad. That was pretty good distribution. Oh, that's from 2 days ago. I'm sorry. Duh, JJ. Right. So there we go. Apologies. Yeah, there's that cost basis from 2 days ago. Look at that. And now we see if it holds that overnight low, and if it breaks the overnight low, I'll be looking for a break of 97. Can you anticipate? Well, you can prepare. So when a market comes back to cost basis, Stuart, I want you to watch my video of how a market builds a low. Because what's going to happen is when a market sells off like it does, the short sellers are going to come in and put in. So first people who buy are smart money shorts. The second people who buy on top of them are wholesale longs because they see they're a buyer, so they'll jump ahead. Buy a little position. Then the look below and fail of 8.5 will happen if we come in and these sell orders are done. If we come in and buy the 9s and 10s, it should rotate all the way back up to 14.25. If, right, so retail comes in next, and then the big move is created by dumb money shorts who shorted here, added here, realized they're screwed here, and pushed to cover. See? Just like I told you it would happen. Smart money shorts, wholesale longs. We're coming in. Now, if there is enough people short under 4, 5, 6, they'll start to cover and we'll yank the supply up to the 12, 14 level. Let's see if that works. Let's see. Usually that'll happen, but this market has sellers. See? See? So it's a little bit different than it usually is, right, folks? Now you guys get that. Because usually by now we'd have been at 13, but look at that. Right? The sellers showed themselves. So that is how the market has changed. So that is what you should focus on. Inventory on top. Exactly, Moran. Exactly. How do you experience stress the bad kind, which gives you heart attacks after a decade? How would I know that I was stressed all of that time? Well, Mihai, I mean, you gain weight, your hair falls out, uh, you don't feel good all the time. Uh, this is a business that is, if you're going to be in this business, you're going to be stressed out because things are always changing. People are always trying to screw you over. Everyone's always trying to put a knife in your back because that's the way this business is, right? That's why Michael Douglas in Wall Street in 1987 said, if you want a friend, get a dog, right? Because once people start doing business, right, and you got 20, 50, $100 million on the line, things change, right? Yeah, it's stressful. That's why when you're a retail trader, you want to come up with a business plan that keeps your stress level down, where you can do some nice business, make a little bit of money, and then just, go away. Don't sit at the screen and give it all back, right? That's why we have rules of how we do business, right? Got to do it that way, folks. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself nuts, right? Having a heart attack is not worth it. The stress is not worth it, no matter how much money you make. So find a way to make money that is simple and uncomplicated, that keeps your level of stress down. If you do a couple of trades, make 500, $600 for the day and then just piss off. Go enjoy your life, right? As you get skill, you'll be able to make more. But don't push it too hard at the beginning because you're not going to make 5 grand a day if you've got no skill trading, right? It's just not going to happen. So relax, try and enjoy the process, you know. And if you want to learn how to trade, we'll happily teach you. No BS. That's pretty much it for me this morning. Anybody have any questions? Thank you all for being with us. Trade safe out there this morning. Might be a while before we get an inventory correction back up. Let's see what happens down here. I'm doing a lot of watching these days, friends. I'm doing a lot of watching. Right? When the big analysts, the people that, are ex-Goldman, ex-Morgan Stanley, if they're saying there's uncertainty, please take them seriously. Don't, don't do those YOLO, FOMO, MOMO, whatever you call them, longs into inventory. Be smart about it. If you don't know what you're doing, size down. Time to be a greedy old bastard, right? Don't give back any money. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And I think this weekend we're having the time change, right? Is it this weekend? Oh, the 31st? No, it says Sunday, March 29th. Don't they usually do it on a weekend? In the UK, clocks spring forward by 1 hour at 1 a.m. on the last Sunday in March, the 29th. There we go. So next week on Monday, for those of you in the States, we will be back to our normal 2:30 in the morning Eastern time as opposed to 3, which you guys are on now. So remember that. We'll be starting an hour earlier for you folks on Monday. So that affects our Globex session. And for folks in the UK, our session will start at 2 instead of 1. I miss living in Hawaii. They never change time. Thanks, everyone. Stay out of trouble. Bye for now.